Today we'll start with the subject organization behavior. So, let's start with the first unit of organization behavior. First of all, let's understand what is organization behavior. Organization behavior is concerned with what people do in an organization and how they behave, how their behavior affects the organization's performance. So, for this, first of all, we need to understand what exactly the organization behavior is. Basically, organization behavior is the understanding, predicting, and controlling human behavior at work. Because organization is made up of people and their behavior. That is why their behavior will always affect the organization performance. If people in the organization behave well, so the organization will definitely grow. And if the people of the organization will not follow the rules, regulations, guidelines of the organization, then organization will not be able to grow. Now, let's understand the characteristics of organization behavior. First is fundamental part of management. Yes, of course, organization behavior is a fundamental part of management because it is a scientific study of how people behave in an organization, and it always helps in improving the focus of management towards their employees because it's a fundamental part of management, it's a base of management. Second point is multidisciplinary approach. Organization behavior is multidisciplinary in approach because it has various fields like psychology, sociology, anthropology. There are various concepts taken from these fields to understand the behavior of the human beings. It includes their learnings, the perceptions, motivations, attitude, etc. There are so many, concepts which are taken from these fields. Then, third one is normative science. Organization behavior is considered to be a normative science because it helps in applying the result of different studies in working of the organization in such a way that it is compatible with the society. That is why individual and social acceptance is also a key factor in working and decision making of an organization. That is why OB is a normative science. Next is science and art. Of course, organization behavior is considered as science as well as art. It is a science because it involves utilization of scientific methods. In organization behavior, we always apply different methods, and it's an art because it deals with the behavior of individuals. It always deals with the behavior of individual. That is why it is an art, and it always involves the utilization of some scientific methods. That's why it is a science. Next is humanistic and optimistic approach. Organization behavior always teaches a manager to apply humanistic approach towards the employees because it always emphasizes on the fact that it is very important to meet the needs of the employee and motivate them. Humanistic approach is very important because it helps a manager to motivate the employee. It helps the manager to understand that what is the need of the employee. Next is optimistic approach. It also inculcates a positive work approach by stressing on the inborn qualities like being independent, innovative, predictive, and capable of giving positive input to the organization. So, humanistic and optimistic approach is very important. Next point is focused towards organizational objective. organization behavior always helps to combine both organization and individual objectives in such a way that both can be achieved, because it is very important that if organization objective is going to be achieved, so individual objective should also be achieved, because both are like, they both are interdependent on each other. If they both will be achieved, then success will definitely come. Then next is total system approach. Certain factors like psychological structure, interpersonal orientation, group influence, social and personal factors, they all are responsible for complexity of individuals' behavior. Thus, organization behavior uses system approach to understand, because it is very important to understand the total system of behavior, that how individual or how an group affects, or how the social and personal factors are responsible towards the growth of the organization. So organization behavior is a total system approach which a manager has to understand. Then the next point is importance of organization behavior. First is helps in understanding human behavior. Human behavior is very important to understand, and organization behavior always helps into this. Human behavior is like, they always interact with different person in a different situation, and this interaction can be understood with the help of organization behavior. Hence, organization behavior is studied at various levels, like individual level, then group level, then organization level. This we'll discuss later on. Next is assist in controlling and directing. First of all, it is very important to for a manager to understand the human behavior that we studied in the first point. Once the manager will understand the human behavior, now the next point is that organization behavior always assists in controlling and directing. Once the manager has understood human behavior, his focus should be on controlling and directing the behavior at all the levels of interaction, thereby helping the organization in achieving its goals. Now, after understanding the controlling and directing part, it explains application of power and sanction. Manager can use power and sanction to control and direct the behavior of their employees. Organization behavior teaches how to use power and sanction, because it is very important for a manager to use his or her power in a right direction, for the benefit of the organization, for the benefit of the employee. Now next point is, it helps in understanding leadership concept. Organization behavior always helps the manager to view the theory of leadership in a very new perspective. It identifies multiple leadership styles and helps the manager in choosing the most appropriate style of leadership in that condition. We'll study this concept later on, the leadership, because there are various theories of leadership. So it is very important for a manager to understand that at what time what theory of leadership should follow. There are different styles of leaders, there are different types of theories, so it is very important for a manager to understand that in which situation what type of theory, what type of style of leadership the manager needs to follow. The next point is evaluates communication process. Effective communication is a giant step towards achieving organization objectives. If employees learn to communicate effectively, organization behavior evaluates the communication process and its role. Because if an employee is able to communicate properly, then half of the problem is solved. Next is helps in understanding organization climate. Organization climate refers to the working atmosphere in an organization that affects behavior of its people. It comprises of enhancement of satisfactory working condition, adequate compensation. It also includes effective supervision under which employees gets an opportunity to realize personal goals. So it is very important to understand the organization climate. Assist in organizational adaptation. Organization in itself is a dynamic unit that is affected by constant changes. In an organization, it is always like some changes occurs. So it is very important for a manager to make them understand, like to make their employees understand that why they need to adapt the changes, because employees always resist to change. So it is very important for the manager to understand that how they'll accept the changes. So organization behavior always assist in organizational adaptation. So here we are done with the importance of organizational behavior. Now our next topic is foundations of organization behavior. There are various foundations of organization behavior. First is individual differences, then whole person, then caused behavior, human dignity, need for management, social systems, mutuality of interest, and holistic concept. Now the next topic is components at each levels. So there are three levels of organization behavior. First is individual level, then group level, and then organizational level. So there are three levels of organization behavior. In all these levels, there are different components. Like if we'll talk about individual level, there are biographical characteristics. Biographical characteristics, it includes like age, gender, marital status. All these components will come under biographical characteristics. Then personality, value and attitude, ability, perception, motivation, learning, these all will come under individual level. Then talking about group level, it will come like communication, leadership, group discussion, group structure, power and politics, conflict, work team. These all will come under group level. Then talking about organization level, organization culture, HR policies, HR practices, then organization structure and design, these all will come under organization level. We'll study all these levels in a very deep manner, because these all are different topics of organization behavior. It will come in different units. There we'll cover each and every term. Now next is result or output of organization behavior. So improved productivity. Of course, organization behavior always improve the productivity. Understand human behavior. It understands the human behavior. It assists in controlling and directing. It enhanced job satisfaction. It always increased organization commitments. Then less absenteeism. Less absenteeism means if employee will be happy in the organization, then there will be a less number of leaves, or less number of absenteeism will be there. Then reduced employee turnover. Company will be able to increase employee retention. If the employee retention will increase, automatically the employee turnover will reduce. So the next topic is impact of organization behavior. First is absenteeism. Absenteeism, if an employee is like fail to report to work, then it is a huge loss to the employer. So this is called absenteeism. More and more absenteeism are there. The next is turnover. As we already discussed that OB or organization behavior helps in reducing employee turnover and increase employee retention. Then next is deviant workplace behavior. Deviant workplace behavior means different behavior of people violates organization norms, and it always threatens the organization. Then organizational citizenship is there. Then job satisfaction, you all know very well that it gives a positive feeling. The next slide is challenges and opportunities in organization behavior. Now let's see that what all the challenges and opportunities are there in organization behavior. So the first challenge is globalization of business. Organization behavior is leading organizations on the way to a new world where there are minimum hurdles to trade and investment, and national economy is becoming intensely connected with each other. Or we can say that with globalization, where the world has turned into a large global village, a global yet local approach is being followed by the organization. Then next is workforce diversity. Another challenge for the organization which they need to face today is just adjusting with the people, because people are coming from different backgrounds, cultures, countries, genders, races. So it is very difficult for the organization to adjust with all the people. This is called workforce diversity. The issue is relevant like all over the world. The same issue is there. If we'll talk about Europe, Canada, Australia, Japan, or US, the main reason behind that is changing demographics of working population. So to cope with this diversity is a matter of concern for the managers, because of I think two reasons are there. Managers must learn how to encourage a diversified workforce, and second is manager has to learn how to interact with employees, those who are coming from like different countries with different values, different languages. So it is very important for the manager to understand the workforce diversity, and this is a challenge for them. The next point is changed employee expectations. Employee expectations and attitudes have also changed along with the modification in the workforce, because in today's era, employees give less or no value to the traditional kind of things like job security, housing, attractive remuneration, etc. Nowadays, employees demand empowerment, and they always look forward for symmetry in status with the management. Now, the next point is increasing quality consciousness. So, if we'll talk about quality consciousness, with the increase in competition, both like from local organization as well as from foreign organizations, quality of product and service has gained much importance. So there are various practices which organizations are doing, like total quality management, Six Sigma, or Kaizen, and quality certification have gained. So these all the functions which organizations are doing, and they are ready to modify their functioning. And it is the task of the manager to ascertain that employees accept the change wholeheartedly and understand that it is for their betterment only. Next is ethical issues at work. Ethics. What is ethics? Ethics are the principles, like beliefs and moral values that an individual or group possess, and for which they are accountable to the community. Managers are always accountable for the same. So it is a challenge as well as opportunity for the manager to understand the ethical issues. Next slide is elements or determinants of organization behavior. So there are various elements or determinants of OB, like people includes individual, group. Then structure is there, it includes jobs, relationship. Then environment, it includes government, social pressure, competition. Then technology, it includes machinery, hardware and software, and there are so many technologies are there. Now next is models of organization behavior. There are various models of organization behavior. Let's understand one by one. First is autocratic model. Autocratic model depends on power. It always depends on power, because the one who is having power, they can use it very well. The employees are willing to give minimum performance. The orientation is obedience to a boss, not respect for the manager. Autocratic model is useful way to accomplish work in conditions. Then custodial model. The custodial approach depends on economic resources. It is all depends upon the financial things. Like the employees are psychologically preoccupied with their economic rewards and benefits, because employees are always concerned about their rewards, their benefits, their incentives. So the objective is to improve job security of employees and reduce their dependence on their immediate supervisor. Then supportive model is there. This model works on the principle of supported relationship. That means there is always a supportive relationship in between a boss and a supervisor. The orientation of the management is to support the employee's job performance. This model supports the participation and task involvement in the organization. Employees are motivated as their status and recognition needs are better met. So this is a supportive model in which the it is the responsibility of a manager to provide a support to their subordinates. Then the collegial model. Collegial refers to a group of persons working for a common purpose. Collegial means a group of persons, those who are working for a common purpose, common goals, common objectives. So this model intends to build a feeling of partnership with employees. Employees never feel themselves as an employee, they always feel as they are a partner of this company. So this is the feelings occurs when this collegial model applies by the manager. The orientation is towards teamwork. The main focus is a teamwork in this model. Then system approach. It is the emerging model of organization behavior, system model. A high sense of caring and compassion is to be demonstrated in this model. Here, the manager focus their attention to develop self confidence, trust, courage, and esteem, etc. Managers try to develop the feeling of self motivation. It conveys to all the workers that they are the most important part of the organization. In system model, a manager is always like they always thinks about their subordinates, their team, that just to give them confidence, just to give them trust, courage, esteem, so that they feel a very positive environment in the organization when they work. Now next is relationship of organization behavior with other fields. There are so many fields in which organization behavior is there. I think everywhere organization behavior is there. So there are certain fields which I have written here, like psychology, medicine, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, political science, industrial engineering, economics, and many more. So this was all about the introduction of organization behavior. So here we have completed with our first unit. Thank you very much.